All right, everyone. Welcome, hello, and welcome. This is Splat Chat episode 9, our preview for the Splat World Series second qualifier. I'm your host Fern, apparently, and I'm only here because my dailies are done in Supervive, and we have.
I don't think we can hear you anymore.
I think it might.
What happened?
Yeah.
You might.
On Discord.
I like that.
While he's dead, I really hate both of you over here. Like, I'm really gotta look up. I'm like, dang, why am I shorter than these two? I swear I'm taller out here.
We're the Brady Bunch right now, you know?
It's
We gotta look to the left
Brady
and the right. While we get situated, I can help segue us. But yes, this is Splat Chat episode 9. And we have a lot to talk about today with the Splat World Series Qualifier 1 that wrapped up last week. Of course, tomorrow we have the second qualifier, and we'll be pretty much talking about everything that's involved with those things. Fern, we'll get a check-in on you. Are we able to hear you again?
I should be back.
Oh,
Okay,
yes,
we're so
very
back.
quiet. Yeah.
Oh, hold on.
Okay.
There we go.
I don't
Is
think
the
we're.
fern in the woods with us?
We are definitely.
I muted on accident. Okay, I'm back.
There we go. Okay, we're good now.
So,
You're straight to stop
Okay.
making sound waterfalls.
okay. Anyway, yeah. Do you want me to do the intro again? I can, but we already did. Oh, okay. Yeah. So, right. First, before we get into the Splat World Series, I think one of the things I wanted to talk about before is recently, I believe CKK made a post about Liquipedia and how we should be using that or some other alternative to store tournament information so that things like Low Tide City being sort of removed from the internet can't really happen, and just for record keeping. And I wondered if you guys had any thoughts on that. I was pretty startled myself to find out that, like, apparently a lot of Splatoon players don't even know what Liquipedia is at all.
It's me.
So I was wondering what your thoughts were on that for record keeping or just anything else.
Well, I think you should explain, because I'm one of those people who don't know what it is. You should explain what Liquipedia is. So
Right.
Well, I was like, okay, King, go off. We're being polite
no,
over here, raising our
explain because there's more people like me who don't know what it is. So I think clarification.
Explain
Yeah.
what this is.
Yeah.
So
For the average listener.
Wikipedia is a database for all sorts of like really most of major esports. It's not really used to host tournaments, but it records information on like almost any esports tournament you can look up. I know mostly big stuff like RLCS, like the LCK, the VCT, CS2 events. They all are updated there. It's sort of a main record source. I think it might be run by Team Liquid. I'm not sure.
Yes, it is run by like Team Liquid.
But it is just a sort of repository for all kinds of information on esports. There are like profiles for teams and players. It's really Wikipedia for esports. And there is a Splatoon 3 Wikipedia wiki. It's really outdated and isn't maintained like super closely. But I think what CKK was posting about is trying to get more people to store stuff on there so that we can have a like more closely more official record of tournaments and players.
If you see my screen, it says Levy Season 15 Div X is still ongoing.
Yeah, we do not keep up with this.
Yeah. Okay, so I think I've been thinking about this since I saw the post about this and kind of explaining like what this is. So a tournament archive like this, where you can really dig in to the statistics of like different player KAs, map mode picks, and like how often things have been picked, et cetera. Like you can really like chunk it down, right? So in my mind, I think with the way that competitive and especially I feel like with what the US lately has been really trying to do and trying to get us more involved in this more, like statistical analytical place. I think that this website is a big part of that. That's going to be a big part of that future. And I think being able to have a better resource to refer back to a lot of these events is going to be really major in the future. And it gives us more grounds to stand on to grow.
Mhm. No, I definitely agree with that. And besides my own personal vendetta with that tournament being gone, right? We do have to adjust, address the fact that LTC before the Riptide of that year was the largest in-person Splatoon event. It was, and by now it's the second largest Splatoon event. And you mean to tell me that the second largest Splatoon event of all time, the record's been it's now gone because now granted that's because I'm an idiot. To be honest, because just things happen, right? People are stupid, but it's like that just in my opinion that just can't happen. Like you don't want to lose something like that. Like that's important for our scene, for our community. Like our top 3 largest in-person events, that needs to be kept. That needs to be kept. Heck, even top 10 in my opinion. That needs to be kept somewhere.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think the difficulty would be finding somebody to actually consistently maintain the website too and maintain the stats. So we know getting Splatoon stats is not very easy. There's a lot of work that goes involved to getting some of these stats from players. There's always screenshots going around of people. Okay, I've got to take a screenshot of my splats assists, all that, and send it and everything. So there's I think in theory it's really good. I think it's much more difficult to pull off and keep it consistent, but I definitely don't see any drawbacks in using a website like Liquipedia. But again, if it's not going to be consistently updated, I don't really know how reliable it's going to be for our scene.
Exactly. I think one of the benefits of, or one of the things I go to Wikipedia for often is how closely updated it is. When major tournaments are happening, you can basically, for major esports, you can basically like in real time see the games change. And I think that's something that would be harder to achieve for our scene, just in terms of like workload for tournament organizers. But as a record keeping website, I think it's pretty important to have something as a backup. I know we have Sendu now, but like in the past, a lot of tournaments are sort of just lost in the sea of Battlefy events that are very difficult to sort through.
But I think that is to Falco's point, though, right? Is that you need someone to maintain the records. You need someone to maintain the Library of Alexandria, right? And it's like you would need another Sendu in that case, because we have somebody like that already does that, and but like to a capacity that it's like, can we take this even further? But I mean, Sendo's just one person, right? So like you need somebody else that has the same amount of like dedication, admiration for keep maintaining that type of record.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a lot of work because like I was looking because seeing some of the stats because y'all been doing it here and I've seen it. It's like y'all sit there, add all the numbers up and divide them by the amount just to get the special average. That alone is time consuming, especially when you do it like just for doing that for 2 teams alone probably already takes like at least, I'm being generous, but 10-15 minutes, probably longer. Like who knows? Like that it's a lot of work. It is for that someone to just sit there and just put all those stats and put all that information into a Wikipedia page. Like, I mean, as much as badly as I want, you know what they say? A lot of people be like, "Oh yeah, I want it. It needs to happen." But are you going to be the one to do it? So, am I going to be the one to do it? Man, that's that's a lot. That's a lot. You know.
Yeah. Right. Well,
Cool. I also wanted to highlight just really cool information about Liquipedia. This is what what an average like tournament looks like. I'm using the Splat World Championship. It actually has a lot of cool information that you can put on, including like broadcast talent and whatnot. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I do remember like when we were getting at the start of the stats effort from Broadcast Beep. One of the first things we did was a nationality chart for the, I believe, Sendu Season 7 finale. and that was inspired by the nationality charts that are at the bottom of Wikipedia pages for tournaments. For almost every.
Oh,
Then
and
Mike's gone again.
He's
Oh,
gone
big rip.
again.
Um,
Once again wilted away from us.
I'm sure we'll get it fixed. But I mean, Stormy, to your point too, you need to have somebody who's going to be updating it, and there's a lot of passionate people around, and like you said, there's people always want change in our community, but you have to be the person who's going to implement that change.
You have to be the one to do it. Like
exactly.
You have to. Like, I mean, to toot my own horn here, like I wanted to see more like, I don't know, loose commentary. So I was like, you know what? So what did I do? I created hood commentary. So that's
the complete parallel to Ludi tonight.
The complete parallel.
I love that, because there is like this providing of multiple types of broadcasts. Like, how do you want to digest and consume this content? Do you want it to be a little bit more unhinged and like maybe taking a level of silly and just taking it less seriously? Or do you want to be somewhere like Ludi tonight, where it's like you want to hone your craft a little bit more, potentially? Not saying that what's happening on hood commentary isn't honing your craft, because it 100% is. Like, the charisma that you need to like perform on hood commentary is pretty crazy. So I just like that there's a variety. You have flavors of how you want to consume this content.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's like that's just one small example of like, okay, you want something, then you have to do it. So, but a lot of people would just be, man, it's so annoying. They scream on the top of their lungs that they want change in our community. They scream, they shout, they're like, man, we got to do better. Oh my God, we need to do this, we need to do that. Where are you? What are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Like the loudest voices with no motion, like all that talk, no motion, like nothing.
Yeah, we always like to see the change that people bring, especially when it's something like you mentioned nobody's ever done before, that can kind of highlight some new ideas too in the Splatoon community. Fern, how a status update from you?
It should be working, I think.
Yes.
It wanted to mute itself. But yeah, I think now we have we can move on to our main topics, which are the Splat World Series Qualifier 2. But before that, I think it would be best to talk about the first qualifier, and the two teams that have qualified being Moonlight and FT Win. Now, I think most people expected these two to be the qualifying teams. I think everyone was hoping for a Moonlight qualification, but I think there was also a lot of surprise in how close the matches between these two teams were. So I think Falco and Seth, you were on the casting duo for those matches, so if you could tell us about what happened there.
Seth, you want to start?
Yeah, so FT Win and Moonlight, I feel like, honestly, we're getting into territory with these two as like a tale as old as time. You have like you have the college rivalry in your state between FT Win and Moonlight, it feels like, because they have met at the grand final, like the grand final stage, however that looks, in whatever tournament that they've played in. They've met there, so at that stage many times, whether it's in person on the LAN, whether it's the Splat World Series, whether it's in Super Jump. Like they just keep. You have this meeting that keeps happening at different points in different storylines of these tournaments, and Splat World Series is no different. But the same story, I feel like, happens so consistently, because Moonlight and FT Win, that game, or that whole set that happened earlier, what happened in a 3-2 fashion. So you had Moonlight winning the first set on Makomart, you had FT Win taking 2 wins, Moonlight coming back for the 4th win. So then, okay, yeah, now we have a game 5. We have a really interesting game 5, because I feel like I've talked about this so much, especially with FT Win. Like, a part of FT Win's mainstay storyline in my eyes is them getting knocked into losers and then fighting their way back up to the winner side of things. It's happened so many times. And I feel like it's happened for Moonlight as well, getting knocked into losers and coming back up into winners. But the people they're meeting in winners sometimes is usually FT Win. So I just like that we see this type of story, and I think this gameplay that happened last weekend, I think it also plays into the whole conversation that this community's been having about we need more teams. We need more teams and like people that stick together and like keep maintaining this storyline, because like, I mean, Moonlight, it's like, I remember, we could talk about LTC 24 again. Moonlight had flags. People were waving and chanting and cheering Moonlight flags. Or no, I'm sorry, that was at Riptide 24. That people were like, had flags and were like waving them around. So like, we need more of that. And I feel like FT1 and Moonlight, this rivalry that they have had really plays into that conversation quite a bit.
Go ahead, Falco.
With the set that happened, I mean, like we mentioned, it was kind of the matchup that we figured these two teams are going to qualify. And remember, this was in the winners finals where the losers still had a chance. The winner was automatically going to qualify, so there wasn't as much on the line for that specific set. However, the fact that it did bring us to a game 5 made it much more exciting. And the fact that we're playing zones only, I think we were all much more hyper focused on the comp changes that could happen, because we know like a player like Shadowwind is probably for almost any type of zones stage, he's going to be bringing out 10. He doesn't always do that on tower control, obviously, but so we were, I think, very hyper focused on the comp changes, and we saw quite a few of them that happened. I think the big one was Nolan was swapping to a Kraken for games 3 and 4 too. I know both sets went 1-1 that way. But then in the last game, in game 5, we saw that Biscuit brought out the red dapples, and that's actually something that Nine pointed out what a lot of teams in Area Cup do. Like, hey, this Urchin Underpass, it's a newer map, it's a smaller zone, but you gotta bring out. We are going to be seeing somebody bring out the red dapples. We can take a look here during this match, but that's exactly what Rafe is going to be their display name in this game. But then also Moonlight changed up the comp too. Basil switched from the pencil to the Claws Gal too, which is going to bring out I forget what specials on that one. I think it's Kraken or Cooler. Thank you. Okay, Cooler. So that was going to be their Cooler player too. So this game in particular really put us on set us on our toes. And yeah, and then we have the different tent coming out too from Shadow. He's going to be playing the VAC tent, which is something we didn't see in the set before. So this is really like the peak of what we were focused on for this tournament. Now, of course, FT Win won in a game 5, and Moonlight was the favorite team after I believe they beat Fertella 3-1 in the losers finals to qualify too. But this was really such a cool event for our community to watch. And like Saf said, again, the two teams that we thought were going to win did win, but this really kept us on our toes the entire time.
Yeah, it most definitely did. And to go back on like to the point about how we're needing more teams and we need more people to stick together, like, and I think we're starting to see a little more of that. Maybe not perfect, but we have been seeing some consistent teams. And what I like seeing the most is the growth of some of these players and some of these teams. Like, I gotta shout out my boys and my people. Free Flow.
Yes.
Oh my God. When I tell y'all that, well, they used to be called a different team name. JJ gets mad at me when I say the name, so I'm not going to say it. But like, they used to be called that name, and I used to coach them. Now I don't coach them no more. But at some point, be honest, I was better than them. And then I watched them slowly build up. I still hang around because they're my people. And then I'm like, y'all, what did y'all become so good?
Yes.
Like, y'all become so good. They kept going. They had determination. They had that drive and everything. And now they have a spot in the Splat World Series. Like, it's actually insane seeing so many teams. Like Frutella, straight up Frutella, it's probably going to be in the Splat World Series. Like, and they've come a long way too. Like, I love seeing the growth. And to talk more about like some of these games that happened back to that finals or that winners finals, there wasn't a lot on the line because, like, you know, the loser can still qualify to like the loser side. But in my opinion, what was on the line there was like a set count, bragging rights kind of thing. Moonlight and FT win. Oh, They fight all the time. And I'm gonna be blunt. At some point, it wasn't even a fight. FT1 would just straight up walk through them. They just walked through them like they were nothing. But over time, like I said, the improvement, Moonlight, they got there. They got there, and they have risen to the point to where the other top level teams and the other teams have to take them seriously. They have to take them seriously, and I absolutely love seeing that. Also, one thing I find funny about Moonlight is like, because Keo said it one time on stream, Moonlight could be playing against some toddlers, and people will still cheer for Moonlight. Still cheer for Moonlight.
They're a beloved team. They're so nice. Yeah, I've had the pleasure of meeting all of them in person a few times. I actually sat next to Shadowin on the flight to Gommel, and they're just all lovely people. But yeah, I mean, you bring up a good point with that too, where they just have for a long time been a fan favorite for the Splatoon community because they've been so cohesive together. A lot of these other top level teams we mentioned, they've had players kind of swap in and out, you know, who is FT Win, who's Starburst. There's a little bit of overlap, but Moonlight has been Moonlight. And as far as that is concerned, people are always going to be rooting for a team who well, number one, they're not problematic at all, and number two, they're just they're a strong unit too, and they're so fun to watch.
One thing that stuck out to me in this Moonlight set is I think Moonlight has been trending up for a really long time. I mean, Stormy, you're talking about the improvement. I think Moonlight going from like decent high level players, Basil, Nolan being just a Splattershot Pro player in Splatoon 2 to now being like one of the best teams in North America, is that this set, the winners finals, reminded me a lot of the famous grands in the first 4v4 Sunday's Homecoming, where Moonlight, they're up against a top team, they keep it really close, they bring the set to game 5, and then they get counterpicked in the last map and they lose. I'm just wondering, what do you guys think it's going to take for Moonlight to be able to make that next step and actually win against top level talent as opposed to just competing?
You want to be straight up? They need to win on maps that are not their counterpicks. It needs to start. It needs to start there. They need to start making those other games, because let's be honest here. When they get on their counterpicks, they win. They do good. They look comfortable. But when they get counterpicked, it's pretty much the most lopsided game ever, almost. Not lopsided in the sense that they get KO instantly, but lopsided by Splatoon standards of like a close game would be. Like, it's like, sure, they don't get KO, but it's still lopsided. It's still like they can never find their footing kind of thing. That's where it starts. They need to find a way to beat these top level teams on their other not on their counter picks. That's where it starts. And once they figured that out, then momentum will swing in their favor. Because let me tell you, oh boy, Moonlight's comp. Let me tell you, oh my god, I would crash out if I had to fight Moonlight's comp. Oh my goodness, like during that same finals, man, because like it was a pickup with Keo and Gray, I don't know who it was that was like tweaking after they won, but Gray was like, somebody was like, oh, I hate them. And it's like I don't blame them. Shooting into 3 walls is the most annoying thing ever. So when they win on somebody else's somebody's counter pick, and they force the other team to play into their game, that's when it will all come together for them. That's when.
Yeah. I think the other side of the grand finals, of course, FT Win being such a storied team in the scene, and now sort of their new resurgence as like a real actual team as opposed to being an FT Win for who knows how many years. But I think this team where you have a few like really veteran and experienced players with Keo and Biscuit and Bursty, Biscuit being on a role swap from like what he's traditionally known for, and then adding on sort of a new like young gun player in Sam, who I in my personal opinion is one of the best mechanical players in the West right now. Just like that's just outside of Splatoon, that's how you build winning teams in esports. And I just wondered, like, what does it mean to you guys? Like, before the show, Stormy, you were saying how you were one of the OGs, and like you've been through like FT1 being at the top level of the scene for years and years, like what does it mean for them to still be contending for majors at this point of this team competitive?
It genuinely means a lot, because throughout the years of me being in the scene, or just period, we've seen a lot of players, teams sort of like teeter off. Even when they were still consistently playing, they would teeter off. Like, to bring up one, like from Splatoon 1, like, Komodo, those guys were like really good, and those players are really good. But when Splatoon 2 came around, it wasn't like they just all of a sudden stopped playing. They just kind of teetered off, and that just happens. But for FT1, for them to be still as good as they are, as pretty much as when they were like the best team in North America, and still be contending for majors and still winning majors and doing all those things, it takes a lot. No, it really does. Because there are some people like me who stay stuck at the same level for like the longest time. Like, man, let me tell you, I was stuck at Div 4 for the longest time until like the last week season I played, where I finally made it to Division 2. Splatoon is hard. It's hard to get better. It's hard to, especially when you hit like mid-level to high level, it's hard to get better. It's hard to improve. So anybody who is top level, who maintains it there or makes the top level, they wholeheartedly earned it, because they found a way to break through that barrier of just being stuck in it, being stuck. Especially some of the new gen players we have. Like, it's impressive seeing how fast some of them have shot up, and that's what I like about this generation here. Everyone improved fast. Like, I'm sitting here old head, like, oh man, I can't make it to Division 1. And I'm looking at all these other people come up in front of me. I'm like how? Why? Like, it's truly insane, and it is really impressive for any top level team to maintain their form.
Yeah, we've seen teams kind of skyrocket that and reach those types of grounds where, I mean, I'm even thinking teams who literally were like little Squid League from the Ink Up eligible teams to being a year or two later making it to like Div 3 or even Div 1. So it is possible. That is a huge jump, but to maintain that status with the same group of people is always such a more difficult task for anybody to achieve, especially with, how I don't want to say how fast the game changes, but when there is an update like the one we've had recently, you're adding 30 new weapons into this game. And we saw quite a few of those in this previous qualifier. So that just opens the door for anybody to kind of excel and really show us their true potential in some of these games. But to your point, Stormy, like FT1, they've been around for so long. I don't know that I can't crack the code as far as how they've been able to do it, but they know how to adapt better than any other team.
There's an it factor that the folks on FT1 just have, and they can maintain it for years and years down the line. But actually, Fern, to your point, I want to bring up again Sam on FT1. Because thank you again, shout out to the folks on Beep for getting all of this statistical evidence for y'all. Sam, in terms of like numbers and stats, if you were to just look at them as an individual and you were to put them right next to Omega from Moonlight, Sam is just one step ahead of Omega. Like Omega's right there. Like the difference between them and their individual stats is astounding. Like it's very close. So to Stormy's point with being, yeah, thank you for bringing that up. So, and to like with Stormy's point, I don't know if it's on, wait, is it on? Yes, it is. Yes. Okay. So yeah, look at Sam up at the top there. Obviously, okay. Evie, don't even get me started with Evie. Okay.
I don't want to hear it.
I just don't even get me started with them. But Sam, you can see, is up there with 8.3 as an average, and Omega is down at the bottom with 6.5. But it's like on the actual like Google sheet that you can look at with their stats like all together in a line, it's like decimal. It's literally decimal numbers that Omega is in comparison to Sam. Like it's so close, and so I just think that kind of adds to what Stormy was saying, is that, okay, well, you have your people that are like your designated slayers, people that are going to go in and not be afraid to fight no matter what happens. And so I'm wondering if we were to put Omega at the same level as Sam, what would that look like? Because in that top level graphic that you're looking at too, there is a lot of Moonlight on there too. Like you have FT1 and Moonlight kind of sprinkled in with some other folks in between. So it's like if you were to maybe get a Slayer that can really go toe to toe with somebody like Sam is, what would that look like? But also you have someone like Kyo who is very much like at the same level as well. But then no one was on that. That's what I mean. It's like, okay, but so how do you stack the building blocks for your team in order to get into that same level?
It's really difficult, right? Because especially in this current day and age of Splatoon, and I'm going to kind of answer why I think a lot of like the former like really good high level players have kind of fell off. Because in this game, Splatoon 3, because you brought up Sam, I think Sam is perfect for this topic. Every team, every top level team, especially now, every high level team, if you want to compete, be best of the best, you need somebody. I'm not necessarily turning their brain off, but you need somebody who doesn't think, turn their brains off, runs forward, and mechanically diffs the other team. Just straight up be better than them. And what I mean by that, you need a Slayer, a not actually brain dead, but a brain dead Slayer that just going in, just doing everything. Basically, every team needs one. If your team does not have that one player that's going to run in and basically kill the entire lobby, you're not going to stay up there. You're not going to.
Well, I'd also like to point out between Sam and Omega, they are using a similar weapon class. You have someone using a Stamper and someone using a Decav. So it's like, again, with them being that close quarters and in the same weapon class.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'm going to add that to it, too.
Yeah, exactly. Because Sam runs in and he just destroys the lobby. Omega, we seen his clips on Twitter. He runs forward and destroys the lobby. Like, you need a player like that on your team. If your team does not have a player like that, you're not going to stay alive at top level. That whole special spam defensive comp built around like just straight paint and everything, that doesn't work anymore. And that's why I think a lot of the teams have fell off. I mean, hell, I'm victim. That's one of the reasons why persistence fell off. Like we just couldn't keep up. Is that because we weren't built around just running forward and killing people. We were built around defensive, kind of play patient, and like wait for an opportunity. That doesn't work no more. You don't have time to sit there for 2 minutes and a half of the game and then decide, ooh, I want to push in the last 30 seconds. No. You can't do that. You need that the entire game. Like these players, so each team has a player. Every team that's qualified for the Splat World Series, you can pick out one player that they have that goes forward and just basically is meant to boom the entire lobby. Everyone has one.
Right. Now, I will say one of the teams that might run a little bit counter to that is the team that was third place. Like looking to this next qualifier is Frutella, who placed third in the last qualifier, and they have, I think if we can pull up the paint stats from the last tournament, I believe it's like 1 and 2, or 1 and something else very high. The paint stats are Punchy.
Yes, I was going to say, you're going to mention Punchy, right? Okay, Punchy was doing things.
Punchy
so I was like,
doing insane numbers on paint. That team is...
And they're a pro for a little bit of it.
Yeah, like a 19 and 1800 average. Just, I don't know how you win a zones game against this team. It's a bit unbelievable. How much they're putting out.
And think of too, like what goes hand in hand with the paint is the specials that are going to be out too. So you're going to have all the coolers. You're going to have all the probably Trizukas. I think I saw Neo Splash on there. You're going to have the crab from the Vanilla Splash. Like, it goes hand in hand with how much paint you can put out, and there's no better mode than Splat Zones to really just spam all that you can for to really build your specials and to just spread yourself as far as you can too. But you're right, the fact that Frutella had the top 2 placements there, I mean, we already saw how well they played in the first qualifiers, like we mentioned, getting third place. They are signed up for the second qualifier, so. And Stormy alluded to this a little bit earlier, but we're pretty sure that they're going to be qualifying at number 2, unless some miracle happens, unless other people sign up who have not quite yet. But they are another fun team to watch.
They are indeed another fun team to watch. I like the high paint number. That's my play style. That's the way I prefer to play and conduct a team. I really enjoy like the high paint numbers. I do.
I also wanted to add, sorry, just real quick, because I have it pulled up with a Photoshop document. I didn't put it out in time. But they are also 1 and 2 Crowny and Punchy for specials per minute, I'm pretty sure. So.
Oh my god! I mean, it makes sense considering that they had the highest paint numbers. They had the highest specials output as well. They have to.
Yeah, I mean, Punchy used to have in his Sendu.inc bio #1 best crab main in the West, not #1 best splash main. So I think that accurately describes how Frutella plays the game. And one other thing we can bring up for Frutella, just in terms of what you were saying, Falco, a bit earlier about adaptability, is that Frutella and about Urchin and playing other cooler weapons on these shorter range maps that maybe Moonlight is struggling to find wins on, is that Frutella counterpicked to Flounder Heights 3 times in top 8 against 3 teams, and 1 against pen comps with Edit. They counterpicked to Edit Splatling every single game. In what sort of other teams are not doing is having that adaptable comp where you can counterpick and swap up your coolers board, and it is clearly working for them. So it seems like maybe that adaptability that the other teams are lacking, that Frutella will be able to capitalize on.
I can feed into that adaptability because I was waiting. Ever since y'all told me that I was going to be on, I was waiting, and I saw the topics. I was like, counter picks. Oh, I get to nerd out about this. I've been so excited to talk about this. The community, especially in the higher levels, has finally figured out how to run counter picks. I figured out how to use counter picks to their advantage. I feel like for years as a community, and I'm guilty of this too. People just have been counter picking what maps they think are just good, what maps they think they're comfortable on, what maps they think will benefit them, not realizing that it probably doesn't. Because I'm not gonna lie, I'm not the biggest fan of counter picks. Not from a spectator. Spectating, counter picks are great, but playing, I'm a kind of guy that just likes to adapt to a map list kind of thing. I like that, but counter picks are definitely way better for the scene. Especially now that I'm seeing that people are actually using the counter pick system. Like, I gotta bring an example of being free flow. You know what these guys do? They make people play Lemuria Hub. They say, hey, counter picks in this open map, you're gonna play Lemuria Hub. And then for the general high level public, because that's usually who they fight, they don't know how to play Lemuria Hub because everyone deems it as a terrible map, so nobody practices it and nobody uses it. But Free Flow was like, nah, we're gonna take that and use it as a strength. You're gonna play Lemuria Hub and you're gonna lose because you don't adapt. And that's exactly what all the other top level hologists are doing. They're taking their counter picks and making it their counter picks. I can't stress that enough. For years, counter picks were just might as well have been a map list. Counter picks are actually counter picks. Like the weird wacky maps that nobody likes playing on, teams have taken those maps and been like, we're gonna make that our strength. So that way, all these other high level teams that think they're good cannot keep up with us because you don't know how to play every map in the game. Simple as that.
Yeah, with that approach, you are at the mercy of a decent map list from the TOs too. So it's a dangerous game to play, but it is a valid strategy, like you mentioned too, because like you said, a lot of teams will say, "Oh, I personally, we Inkblot Tower, that's our map and mode. Cool, let's run it." But when you have a map like Lemuria, we're like, "Oh, okay, that's not something I would think about." If you specialize in it, then you're right. You're going to be thriving against any other team that you face. So it's a different type of approach. I don't know if that's very substantial for our scene, but you're right, Stormy. It is working right now.
Another example being that Game 3, Moonlight counterpicked Bluefin zones against FT Win. So I kind of agree. I think having the openness to kind of just choose what you want to do, because there could be just the Marlin Airport enjoyers out there that it's like, this is it. This is our map. We have to be able to pick it, and if we can't, then we're screwed. What are we gonna do?
I mean, the way I see it is that those basic maps that everyone used to play, you should be fine. Like, I'm gonna be real honest. At this point, if you need practice to play on Hagglefish zones, then what are you doing? Like, everyone knows how to play Hagglefish zones. So, like, those main stays in a map list, you don't really need. I'm not saying you don't need a plan, because you do need a plan against every team. But you don't really need to put that much effort or thought into doing, because we've been playing those maps for the longest time. Like, if you ask any team what's the plan on, like, rowboat zones, they're going to be like, okay, we're just comfortable there. It's a normal map. It's in the map list. It's just there, kind of thing. Instead of like those other like crazy maps that other teams don't think about playing because they deem it as a bad map, but they just don't get used to it. So I actually really kind of like the open map system, because I feel like that's been a benefit though of as a reason. That's why things have been more exciting, because teams are picking those weird maps. And for a spectating perspective, it's really, really fun to watch other teams play on those weird, wacky maps that otherwise they won't. Because this game is, let's be honest here, for a longest time, this game has just been pencil, splash, bucket, or shot, pencil, splash, bucket, 52, or pencil, splash, bucket, squeezer, stuff like that nature, basically. But with those maps being in a rotation, it forces teams to be like, hey, you can't just pick pencil and win. You got to think here, kind of thing.
Right. Now, I think before we start making predictions at all for this tournament, we've talked about Frutella, but I think we should talk about some of the other seeds in the qualifier too that may make runs to be our last qualifier, provided Frutella makes it as we expect. And I think the first one I want to mention is Bad Villain, which is a team of this time Exnor, Kaora, Mechanical Cats, and Mox. This team made top 8 in the previous qualifier with Splat instead of Mox. Just wondering, is there a world in which we have 2 Octobrush players in the Splat World Series?
With Bad Villain, I think it's possible.
Yeah, I do too. Like you mentioned, they finished top 8, made it to losers round 6. In a gauntlet of a losers run too. I'm looking at their standings right now. But like they had a decent winners bracket run as well too. I think they got knocked down. I'm trying to look right now when they got knocked out. It was in. Oh no, FT Win knocked them into losers bracket, so we don't even know exactly how far they could have ridden if they weren't facing FT Win. But yes, there's definitely a world where 2 Octobrushes can make it into the Splat World Series, and they were a team that Saf and we had the pleasure of commentating on Splatoon tourney last weekend, and they looked really strong. So I would say they're definitely a contender.
I think if Mox is the one playing Octobrush, I think it's kind of not even kind of. It's pretty much almost guaranteed, because Mox is that guy. Or I don't actually know their pronouns, but Mox is them. But Mox is definitely them. Their Octobrush is absolutely incredible, and I think there is a world where that happens. I think the only thing that will like prevent them from making it far is the inconsistencies of who they're playing with, because I think Mox it's still a pickup at the end of the day. Like, maybe the only like other person that I think would be consistently playing with Mox would probably be Mechanical Cast, but that's about it really. But I know Kaora is like a shooter player, and Exner is going to be like on pencil and like edit. So definitely still a very strong team to look out for. But that would be the only thing. It'll just be like the synergy kind of being off. But in my opinion, they can easily squeeze out a top 2 in this bracket based on what I see. Easily.
Right. Then I think we have to talk about one of the elephants in the room in this tournament is Black Lotus. Signed up. They're currently seed 5. I don't believe they played in qualifier 1.
They did.
They did.
They did?
Yeah, they got knocked out pretty early into losers bracket actually. I believe it was round. They lost in losers. I believe in round 3. So they were done after losers round 3. Yeah.
Right.
Who did they lose to? Hamster emoji. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. So that was. I don't know. Like you mentioned Black Lotus, and we were talking about this a little bit before the broadcast too, but a team who in Super Jump didn't make alpha bracket. They were a clear team who should have made alpha bracket. Instead, they made beta. They won beta in a game 5, but it's just not the same Black Lotus team that we saw a little over a year ago. You know, they played in Ludi's season 15, made Div X finals. They were a team that a lot of people love to watch, and too, they always wanted to be streamed. We streamed a lot of their matches on the Ludi tonight too. But then season 16, yeah, and then they kind of, you know, didn't do as well in the most recent Ludi season, which, you know, fair enough, there was tougher competition, but even some of these top level tournaments, like we mentioned Super Jump, that's a team. If you would have told me they didn't make alpha bracket and Super Jump, I would have called you crazy, because I just did not expect that from them. But we're waiting to see what they can do to turn this around, or maybe they won't. I don't know. I want to be optimistic. They're really nice people, but it's definitely a team that we should bring up. And being seeded number 5, that's not seed 1 or 2. There are still, you know, there's 4 other teams who are ahead of them who deserve the spot more than they do. So it's going to be a tough battle for them if they want to make it. And right now they're not favored.
So there's one statistic I don't have up right now that I'd like to know. So if you're looking at the seeding chart, right? So Fratello's seeded first, Pathway, which I was surprised is seeded second, and Bad Villain, Blanks, and then you have Black Lotus. Where were these 4 teams at the start of qualifier 1 in comparison to Black Lotus? Were they above, or were they above or below? And if they were below, did they jump to above Black Lotus in this next round of seeding for qualifier 2? Because obviously you take out FT Win and Moonlight, and like you said, we were talking about this before the broadcast started, but like Stormy emphasized it too. It's like this could literally be for everyone. This is a free for all for this second qualifier. Like it's hard to say like who I think we can try to predict obviously who would go into those top 2 places, right? But I also think that just considering how much competition there is for this second one, and like you're taking out, I guess, like a lot of the mainstay type folks that come into these things, it just makes you wonder like who is going to be filling out the rest of that like leaderboard, I guess, if that makes sense.
No, it makes complete sense. Like, I'm looking at the current sign-ups right now. This obviously can change because people love to sign up late. We all know how that goes. But this bracket is wide open. And when I say wide open, I mean wide open. Well, Fratello's probably the first one in front of the door. Let's be honest here, most likely. But it's still wide open. This is anybody's game right now. We don't know who's going to make it. And so, like, I'm going to be blunt. Blank Z is very strong. But when they're your seed 4 currently for this tournament, that says a lot. That really does say a lot. About Black Lotus though, like, oh man, it really sucks because at some point they were so strong and they're just going through it right now. I mean, look, at the end of the day, they won $700 in this one land recently. I don't know if y'all saw that. They did win $700. So I mean, who's really winning? If you know, but still, you know, y'all know me. I'm a big Laby believer. I love Laby. That 52. I mean, he's so good, and he's actually like a really fun person to be around. Look, I love Laby. Laby, shout out to Laby if you're watching this, bro. You know I mess with you, bro. But man, it's as much as I love my boy, it's the team and how it's going right now, especially as a risk, because they have not been playing with their main 4 or consistent like best roster. But even when they were, it was still like it just didn't look good, to be honest. It just didn't look good.
Yeah, I think Black Lotus. Sorry, you can go if you want.
Oh, I was going to say, as one of the producers for the Splat World Series mentioned in chat, the qualifier 2 seedings on Sendao are not finalized. It's just based on their SP. I'll pretend like I know what that means because I am on Sendo all the time. Thank you. That's what I figured. So the seeding for there doesn't necessarily matter, but for the first qualifier, we can kind of gauge where some of those teams were. Black Lotus, they were seeded 14 in the first qualifier. So teams like Pathway and Bad Villain, they were seeded above Black Lotus. So Pathway was a seed 6 and Bad Villain, they were a seed 9. So relative to Black Lotus, they are still slated to finish above them. That's all I really wanted to add.
Yeah, I think to me, Black Lotus, they're supposed to be the best. They should be the best team in Germany, and recently I think their sort of arc has been more just a team that loses to up and coming high level teams. Like, I believe in their Super Jump run that sent them to beta, they lost to Artifice and No Vanity, who are like two up and coming North American teams. Now, and this tournament is full of like up and coming high level teams that really want to punch their ticket to a major. And one of the main teams, our seed 2 in this event, is Pathway, who is currently our rank 1 team on Sendu-Q. And I believe they played in the first qualifier and made placed 9th, so outside of even top 8, but right now they are one of the highest seed teams. This is a somewhat storied event, like high level pick team. It's new, which I think a lot of people might not be familiar with all these players. You have Mondi, who was in Div 1 with Ink Souls Maria in Season 16, Spec, who played on Torrent, and then Bonsai, and Bonk, who was playing with Teodol relatively recently. But I just wonder, I think that this team might have a pretty solid shot at making top 2 in qualifying. And I'm just wondering, like, what your guys' expectations for this team, if they can live up to that seed 2 that they have right now.
If you were to ask me, right, because I don't know them personally, but I've seen a lot of these players play before, right? Especially Spec. I'm very familiar with Spec. I played against him a lot back when I was in com. Really good Snapper player, by the way. But individually and on paper, if you ask me to judge this team, I would be like, they're good, but they probably won't make top 2. But it's clear that they've been putting in the time, they've been putting in the effort, and Bonk is actually really good, by the way. I played with him and against him. Bonk is actually pretty solid, not gonna lie. Bonk is a glass cannon. He's like, some games you'd be like, what are they doing? And there are some games being like, oh God, what are they doing? You know, it's like it's a mixed bag with Bonk. So truthfully, the answer to that question is it depends on which Bonk you get. If you get the absolute demon Bonk, then they can easily squeeze out a top 3, maybe even make a top 2. But if you get like the average Bonk, then they probably won't make it that far.
Honestly, the range on their Sendo profile really is emphasized by what you were just saying, Stormy. They've played in so many different tournaments. They've resulted differently in so many different tournaments. So that really does speak to which Bonk am I getting today.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Because, like, if I remember correctly, if it's still true, Bonk is a roller player. I don't know if they play a different weapon now. Okay, it's true. Okay, cool. They still play roller, and roller is just one of them weapons where it's like, I wouldn't know this because my partner pocketed a really strong roller on Project Rat. Roller is that weapon where it's like one day it's like, oh, I feel so alive. I love this weapon. Man, I'm just the best. 2, I'm really angry for no reason and I can't get anything done when I'm playing this weapon. Roller is just one of them weapons where it's just like, it could be the best weapon in the game, then the absolute most detriment for a team to have. Like it's no in between. It's either the best or it's the worst. Like there's no middle ground for a roller. It really isn't. So depending on what teams they have to fight their way through to get there, they might be set. But seeing the teams they're going to be dealing with here, they might be okay. I'll be honest. They might be okay. The roller might be okay. Just might.
Just moving on to our next team, we have seated a bit below Black Lotus. I think just off of SP, one of the other teams to watch that will probably make top 8 is a pickup with Helix, Dark, Waka, and Temp. Now, I know a lot of these players haven't been super active as of late, but this is like a team with firepower. And I'm sure Falco, you've certainly casted, I imagine, plenty of Helix from season 15. If you had anything to say about like what you think this team might be capable of.
Yeah, it's always hard to say because this is a pick. I don't think we've really seen this specific pickup very often. At least I personally haven't either. But we all know Helix as a very strong player, playing a lot of backline weapons too. But I don't know. Anytime you have a notable player like that who has the connections and knows which players that they think would be best fitted for them for a tournament like this, it's always going to be a curveball. So I'm excited to see what they're going to be doing in the second qualifier. But unfortunately, I don't really know exactly where they could be placed right now. Top 4 based on the other teams, it's possible, but I don't really know. That's kind of my best hunch.
I just haven't seen enough of them individually. Like I've seen Dark and I've seen Helix. We all know them. Dark is slowly been coming back into getting into groove playing Splatoon. Y'all remember Dark? Dark is Arctic Moon backline. To be Arctic Moon backline. I don't know what they're playing now, but I know that he's getting back into the groove of in comp, and obviously he's doing really good. But it's still just not enough show for me. And I think the elephant in the room here is Waka. We know Waka used to be like one of the best bucket players around, and I haven't seen bro. I have not seen them in like forever. Have they been playing in plus scrims? Have they been doing any like what? When is the you see nothing? We haven't seen anything from bro. Like, have you been secretly playing scrims? Like what? Like what's the plan here? You can so like based off at least Senduq by Senduq stats right here. This will be his first tournament in a year, in basically a year.
None of the team names are the same either from what we saw in 2015.
Yeah.
All on different teams or a different name. So
I think it's kind of it seems like you have a group of people that are like semi-retired to like recently retired, because Helix is also kind of a retiree. And then like Dark and Temp actually play together on a team called Air Ride, which, by the way, the group of Air Ride has so much diversity on that team. You have multiple people from different countries, and their roster is massive. But Dark and Temp play on Dark and Temp play on Air Ride together. So the native tribute being their pickup team as a whole, I think is pretty interesting, because you have. It seems like you have a lot of people that used to play, but back in the day, trying to come back in, and start something new. So that's pretty fun. I like that.
I think Air Ride is like not really a full team. I think like they have a lot of old DNA players on their roster.
Right.
But
good groups.
They have Luke. It kind of seems mostly fake. I'm not really sure why they're on the Sendu team together, but it is kind of fun. But yeah, I think it is certainly a veteran team. I don't think you can deny that. All of these are like really experienced players in the past, but I don't know if it's a veteran team on the level of FT Win or any of these other like old super teams.
Well, definitely not, but they don't need to be that level to qualify for this event specifically. They just gotta be They just gotta be like 75% of that. 70% of that, you know?
Right. Yeah. Now, I think we might be ready to go actually make predictions for top 2. If any of you have some hot takes you want to put up for who you think is going to make, I have my mind. Now, my prediction is that Frutella are probably going to make it, but if Usnight can actually get a team together, I think he qualifies.
I was thinking that Usnight being one of the more prominent names, especially nowadays, Stamper pretty strong. But the question is who would Usnight play with? Like a lot of the really strong teams and players have already qualified, and some of the really strong teams already have like pickups going into this event. So I would be genuinely curious to see who would he even play with. Like this isn't like where you can pull like JP players and play in this event. No, you can't do that. You need some people from the West. And what's left is the question. What's left?
Maybe Ezio and you Snipe could collaborate. Let's Wobbly Wiggly Celeste. Celestial Wiggly.
I think we're all on the page that Fratella's. I mean, I don't know. Am I speaking for everybody that Fratella's probably favored to make it? Is that
they are?
Yeah.
Yes,
definitely. Okay, yes, we can all, I think, agree on that. It really just depends on the second one, and for me, I don't really have anybody to go off of who we didn't see in the first qualifier. So I'm really looking at Pathway and Bad Villain right now, and Blank Z as well too. They competed, but something is telling me that Bad Villain with Mox could place ahead of Pathway. So if we're starting with that, I'm gonna say Bad Villain's my second choice.
Yeah. Okay, I don't want you all sleeping on Blanks. This team is kind of on the up and up recently. They are pretty underrated in my mind. They play a lot of really interesting comps, honestly, but they've been pulling out lots of results.
Yeah,
I think,
yeah.
like I can see a breakout run being humanly possible. I don't know if it happens. But I don't know. Are you any familiar, like Stormy or Saf? Are you any familiar with Blanks? Do you might have any takes on her, Stormy?
Yeah, I actually played against them recently with a pickup of in this all zones tournament. I just filled in because it was there. It was me, Devade, Sincon, and Prosper. And when we played against them, we lost 0-2. But to dive into the statistics of those games, the first game didn't go so well, but the second game was actually like we definitely did way better. It was actually pretty close. If we secure like literally one more kill, we actually win that game and force that game 3, like straight up. And that in itself is like pretty surprising. But in the day, they still won, so it doesn't matter, obviously. But I know Blank Z has been consistently, basically, they're not doing anything extraordinary, but they're playing at where we expect them to play at, consistently placing in those high level spots. You know, like if they're seeded to make, I don't know, 8th place, they'll probably make 7. They'll make 7, kind of thing. That's what they'll do. They need to pull off something. They need to go above and beyond though in this event for them to make that top 2 spot. And it's not like they need to like really break their backs for it. They just got to do it like once or twice against like Pathway and Bad Villain and stuff like that. That's all they really have to do.
Now, I think one more team that viewers might want to look at going into this tournament is Artifice, who placed 9th to 12th in the last qualifier. But I mean, this time, this is a high-level team, sort of on the up and up. They played in the last Syndicate Major, and I think they were one of the teams to beat Black Lotus in Super Jump. I believe they made Alpha in Super Jump and then didn't play.
Yeah, they beat Black Lotus 3-1 in Super Jump.
Right. But this, I mean, I'm a little biased. I used to be on a team with one of the Artifice players, but
who would their 4th be? They have 3 players.
Yeah, that is the one thing. I'm not sure if they'll end up playing with their full 4, but I think this team could, like, to me, this team is capable of a breakout run against like competition of this caliber. I think they certainly can do it.
They definitely are, and I really attest to that because they played in the Gauntlet recently on JJ's birthday, and Artifice made it all the way to grand finals against Free Flow. They forced a bracket reset because they fought Free Flow twice. They lost in winners finals, I think 3-1. They forced a bracket reset. The score was 3-2, I think, in a bracket reset. And then they were up, and then Free Flow was up 2-1, I think, was it? Yeah, they were up 2-1. And then Artifice, they were so strong. They looked so good. But then they DC'd, and then they lost the game 3-1, and Free Flow ended up winning the whole tournament. But still, it was a really impressive showing. And we all know how strong Free Flow is. This is not Free Flow before. If you do decent against Free Flow, that's saying something now. You know, that's saying something now because like both those teams being on the come up. So Artifice, are definitely a team to look out for. And honestly, I would put them within like my top 5 rankings of the teams I see signed up so far. Genuinely, I'll stand by that. I'll put them up there, assuming they get the last member and signed up completely. I don't know what they're doing there.
Their fourth is normally Bounce, but they're not listed, so I don't know what happened there. But yeah, on their team page.
I think Bounce needs to sign up with Artifice if they want a chance to make the Splat World Series. That's what I think. That's what I think.
They have about 15 hours to do so if they want.
Yeah.
So they got to get on that.
Yeah. Now, I think we might all have to be prepared for somebody to sign up at 7 a.m. tomorrow and qualify for the Splat World Series.
That would be crazy.
Top level players, as always. But yeah, I think one of the just looking toward the actual Splat World Series after these qualifiers, talking about some of the like more recently announced teams from Japan, we have 2 teams that I think are less conventional in their comps. You have, sorry, just a sec. You have Final Weapon, which which is going to bring us the first Octobrush player, maybe potentially the second if Bad Villain makes it. And then you have, wait, sorry. Yeah, and then you have Samurai Cat, playing a coolerless E-Leader 52 comp, and I just think both. What do you think? What do you think about these these 2 teams having less traditional comps, and then also, what do you think are the West's chances are, especially for the less hype non super top level teams from the West coming in to be able to compete against these also less hyped up Japanese teams?
Oh boy. Oh man.
I think the West is, I think they're going to struggle against some of these teams, to be quite honest. You mentioned some of the teams who are not as well favored. I mean, Stormy, I hate to say that your people free throw. I know you know too. So that's one of those things too where it's so hard, because I feel like players from Japan, they've seen every type of comp that we have to offer in the West, but we in the West have not seen, other than maybe FT Win and a handful of Moonlight teams and maybe some teams from Europe. But it's a different beast for the Western players to tackle, and you're playing weapons against Octobrush and again more unconventional comps too, that I do think the West in general will struggle. And that it is what it is. I would hope that there will be some Western representation later on in the bracket, because if it's all teams from Japan later on, I don't know how enticing it will be for a lot of viewers, to be quite honest. I don't want to discourage anybody, but yeah, welcome home, cheater. That's always one of my favorites. Signs that we see in the maps. but still, it's the gameplay is just on another level from what we typically see.
Man, look, if Free Flow takes a game off of one of the JP teams, I'll pop off for them and be happy and be content. Look, let me be honest though about NA as a whole though. This is a perfect example, right? JP, right? All of their players, every last JP team can essentially be top level if they were NA. That is really what it is. And that is just how good they are. I really hate it because it seems like as by what we say nowadays, glazing JP, but that's the truth. They're just way ahead of the game. Their power levels are on a whole different scale. And remember how we talked about earlier about how every team has that one player that runs in and destroys them? Well, every JP team has as well. And they have if FT1 has Sam, the JP teams have 2 of them. They have
turns out it's actually all 4 of their players that are Sams.
that are like Sams. it's insane. It's ridiculous. Like we already know like teams like PXG, FT Win, and maybe Moonlight can hold. You know how I gotta say maybe Moonlight can hold their own against the JP teams. But some of the other outliers, like I love my people, like Free Flow, like all these, and the two teams that are gonna qualify here, like Synapse, Lexi, and like that team right there. I think it's Hypernova.
Hypernova, yeah.
Yeah.
Hypernova. That they're going to struggle. Now, here's where I think they have a shot. If they get paired up against the JP teams who comps are less conventional and maybe more favorable matchups, because let's be honest here, in this game, if your comp is just straight up better than the other teams in every maps, you can win. No matter how good they are, you can win. We've seen it before. We've seen it many times. Even in JPs, in front of JPs, we've seen it before. That is the only way I can see it. Like that's the only way I see it. Man, we're going to struggle. It's going to be hell. We're going to struggle.
Yeah. One of the, just a sec, I'm just looking through, but I think one thing on my mind is that the last Japanese team is still unannounced. And I wonder when we're going to take note, or we will know when the full roster of teams will be announced. I think Eli has been in the chat. I don't know if like the actual last Japanese team is confirmed yet. But obviously we're still waiting on our last two.
Do we know also if any of the Japanese teams that are coming in to the finals has anyone from the West played anybody that's going to be in the finals? Like I'll admit, like I'm not as well versed in the Japanese scene, and it's something I'd like to be better aware of, and I think that maybe that's a storyline and narrative that could be helpful. Like moving into the finals in like a week or so from now, is like has anybody, for like the FT Win, for example, has FT Win met any of these Japanese teams on the battlefield before, or like pieces of these Japanese teams on battlefield before with like other players? Do we happen to know that?
Just recently, I think Gray has been posting about scrimming with some of the Japanese teams. I believe, like recently, he's played against a team of Russo, Toto, Soapy, and Ryukan. I know Russo and Toto are playing on one of the favorites, I would say, for the Splat World Series, and then have also played against a team of Shuman, Takanoko, Wobo-ku. I believe Takanoko and Wobo and Ku. I think all of these players are also, if not confirmed, like, if not on the same team, at least qualified for the Splat World Series. So I think at least PXG has been likely playing against these Japanese teams. And I think a lot of, like, one of the benefits of a lot of the teams from of like the veteran players on FT Win and Milky Way and PXG is that these players have like played in area cups. They've played against Japanese teams before. In like past majors, a lot of our, like, we've had old Syndicate majors, old Super Jumps for a while were really dominated by Japanese teams, and I think like Chara was so.
Kyo's played with 3 players from Japan in Super Jump. I think it was maybe 2 years ago.
Right, I remember that.
Yeah, I don't remember the players in particular, but I would not be surprised if 3 of those players are going to be that we're going to be seeing in the Splat World Series. So I definitely know Kyo's had some connections. It would be really cool if he's going to be facing some of the teams or some of the players that he's teamed up with against. But I do think we do have that connection.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's one of the things though that because I know people hate bringing it up because it sounds about, but I feel like that I'm one of the people that can bring it up because it involves my people. That's one of the things that sucked about Jackpot doing what they did, is that was one of our main NA teams that could step up and challenge the really strong Japanese players. I mean, they proved it time and time again. That's what sucked. I mean, Gray's post on Blue Sky that you showed earlier speaks volume, right? He said it. 0-8 against that one JP team. I know it's been a while since he played against us, so I'm cutting him slack. This isn't me degrading him, but 0-8 against them, right? In the scrim. And it was like, he said it. Their instincts were just pure destruction. They were just that much better. It was that, like, he wasn't sure what to learn from it. That you know what kind of talk that is? That is talk of a low-level team fighting a top-level team. That's that kind of talk about, I don't know what to learn from it because it was just that bad. Like this stuff right here speaks volumes. Now, granted, it got better. He went 4-4 against another team, another one of the JP teams, which you're going to pull up right here. So that's good. That's promising. But PXG, on paper, is the best team. Is the best team. They beat Moonlight. They beat FT Win. They destroyed them, actually. They destroyed their way to make it to be the first NA team to qualify. They're winning that super jump. And they're having that much problems with the JP teams. Like, if that doesn't speak volumes, I don't know what does. You know?
Yeah, and Gray didn't have to post anything. I mean, maybe I'm sure he streamed it, or somebody from his team streamed it, so it was like documented in one way, but he didn't have to say anything, and he did too. So he's like putting it out there that, hey, this is what happened. Here's what we struggled with. And to your point, you have our best represented team in the West as of right now, by a lot of what the community says. The best you do is 4-4 versus a team from Japan. That's not really setting you up for success. It's pretty difficult to deal with.
It is. It would be genuinely surprising if NA finds a way to just at least make it competitive. Maybe like pull out a top 4 at least. You know, we've done that before. I know we're tired of it. I know in like the last like similar event, what was it? What's it called? The Splat World Championships, right? I think that's what it was called. Not the actual World Championships that Nintendo runs, but like it was a showdown between Jackpot and FT Win. It was like surprising, but a lot of why that, obviously not taking credit for them, but why that happened was because the other JP, the really strong JP players and teams were getting ready for the Koshian so they can qualify for Worlds and stuff like that, right? So it's going to be similar to that. It's going to take a miracle. I mean, it's going to take a miracle for us to stay in contention with them.
Right. I think one of the storylines going in might be that whether or not you can have Jared and Q on Milky Way, like 2 members of formerly Jackpot, like can they be the players that like have experience like winning against Japanese talent, even if it wasn't like the top level of Japanese talent, like whether they can repeat that and make a run in the Splat World Series.
That's why I like that, how like one topic I think that comes up a lot in these bigger like major tournaments a lot is like how much experience people have with different atmospheres playing the game. And I feel like with the Splat World Series, it's in the name. You have people that have played for the world, like for the title of the world champion. You have some Jackpot players sprinkled in there. You have FT Wins. You have probably some folks from the JP side of things as well. You also have some folks in EU that have been in the world seat before playing. So I like that this tournament adds that layer to it, where you have people that are not just the best like in their respective countries, but you're like people that are the best at what they do in the world, and you're bringing all of those regions together to decide that once again. And I think that playing on a world stage, whether if it's a Nintendo official or not, that adds a whole other layer the stakes of the whole thing that I think that some people I think might have trouble like grasping. And I'm wondering too, because we do have Moonlight coming into the world stage view. And Moonlight's played on big stages so many times. And so it's kind of like, okay, when you come into this side of things, how do you deal with the pressure of the world watching you? People that play Splatoon all over the world watching you. People that are so far away from you that may have never even met you and probably will never even meet you. And they're rooting for you. Like, how do you deal with that type of pressure going into this? And especially against people that have already know how to mitigate their feelings in that type of atmosphere, in that seat.
You even gotta like think about it for like the aspect, because Moonlight is basically a top team already. So think about how that feels for like some of our lesser ones like Hypernova, Free Flow, and the two teams that are going to qualify in this next event. Like, they got to get their minds right going into this. It's like, man, it's a lot. It really is a lot on the model. It's so stressful that even FT win and maybe PXG feel the stress. Like if you can't tell from Gray's post on Blue Sky, that man is stressed. That man is stressed trying to figure it out. But it's also fun. We need this. We needed this event. Do I think NA is going to do well in this event? Probably not. But I do think this event is going to be the kick that NA needs to get back into the swing of things and get used to playing against that top talent of other countries and other continents, other regions and stuff like that. Like those lesser teams who aren't considered top teams are going to get so much immense value just for fighting the JP teams in this like huge event. Hell, even the top level teams themselves are going to get value from finally doing it. Because what's the last time we NA and JP has squared off? When's the last time? Genuinely, at least like this. It's been a while.
I don't know. I'm not entirely too sure. I feel like there have been. No, I can't think of any North American teams that have played an Area Cup recently. Who would do that? I think
20XX is also. That's just EU and NA.
Yeah, there weren't any teams from Japan for that one. I think another thing what's going to be difficult, and it's more of a kind of outside the game, but the fact that this tournament is going to be, I'll say, played at a Japan favored time of roughly 8 p.m. Their time. It starts at 8 a.m. Eastern time, 5 a.m. Pacific. So there's a lot that most people are not prepared to play competitive Splatoon that early in the morning. So there could be
4 a.m.
4 a.m. for what?
For Wheaties. Your Wheaties
eat your Wheaties at 4 a.m. Yeah. So I don't know. Like there's a lot that is going to be difficult for our North American teams to participate in this. I mean, PXG, like they might, of course, they're the number one seed. They have members from Europe. They're going to be favored for any team in the West. But yeah, I think it's a very good opportunity for us being the Western scene to really engage with most of the players from Japan. And obviously this wouldn't have been able to happen without the support of IPL and Area Cup for making that merger happen, particularly IPL for initiating this tournament. But yeah, this is I think this will be the first opportunity that we really get a good look at what Japan has to offer outside of official Nintendo World Championships.
Yeah, I think, I'm gonna be honest, I think Japan needs it a little more than we do. Because, oh boy, I mean, oh God, when your qualifiers is turf war, man, like, that sucks. I'm gonna be honest. That sucks. Like, because we know what Japan has to offer as far as talent goes, especially during that last World Championships. And not saying the Phantom Thieves weren't strong. They're definitely strong. That's why they won. Even if it was turf war, that's why they won. But was that the best Japan has to offer? Definitely not. We all know it. Definitely not. So this is Japan getting their opportunity ever since back then to show that, hey, we got it tenfolds over here, you know.
Yeah, I would say maybe this is, and I'm not sure if I can remember a time in Splatoon 3 where you had this much top level talent from Japan, like playing in in a tournament against Western teams. So it's a pretty monumental tournament from uh between Japan and the West,
It
and
is.
I think we all have a ton of like predictions going in.
I really like it because, like I said, it's going to give NA the other like lower level, high level NA teams a chance as well to get a taste of that. You know, that's why I say it's going to motivate them and kick them in the shin and maybe push their way to be top level teams as well.
Again, my fear is if all of NA gets knocked out or into the losers bracket early on, and we have all teams from Japan. I mean, like, it's still going to be great competitive Splatoon. Don't get me wrong, but it's just going to be a different type of tournament we're going to be watching if a lot of our North American teams get knocked out very early and we don't have a home team to root for. You know what I mean? So that's really my biggest concern with how this is going to play out. Now, of course, we're seeing the best of the best in the world. So that's why we're here watching Splatoon, not necessarily for specific teams. Of course, we want to root them on, but this again is the opportunity that we will showcase the best teams that the world has to offer.
But I think that's the risk that is so worth being taken with that, right? Because it's like, okay, yes, what if all of NA gets knocked out really early? Okay, so what if they do? This is now this opens the floor for the NA scene to kind of be like, okay, what is going on in Japan? Who is playing in Japan and who's coming to this stage, and who has like done the work to be here today to represent Japan? And I think that opens the opportunity for our NA audience to like learn about that, to expand their knowledge on team play mechanics at like all the way down the chart, right? And I'm just hoping that the way that this is all presented to people will engage that interest. It will trigger folks to start following more than just what we have going on in North America. And it's not to say that what we have in North America isn't enough, because my gosh, there's so many creative people in this community. There's so many very outgoing, creative, wonderful individuals that just like want to see this explode and like be the best that it can be by creating broadcasting channels, by creating statistical analysis teams that can have sports desk and talk about and predict these different qualifiers. You have collegiate leagues, like you have tournaments that represent all different skill levels. We all want it to be the best that it can be, and I think that the direction of that needs to take is us expanding our knowledge into these other regions in the world. And I think that there's a smaller group of us here in NA that do follow that a lot more closely, and I think that number needs to increase, especially with like a spin-off game of Splatoon coming out, especially with predictions of 4 coming out. If this franchise is to continue on in the capacity that it is and to grow, then these regions need to start cross-pollinating and learning each other's scenes more.
Yeah. I'll say, like, I think what Storm was talking about is how this could be like an improvement moment for a lot of the teams. Like, do you think this tournament could be what it takes for either teams like Moonlight to really turn themselves into winning teams and not just competing teams, or teams like Free Flow to like fully break into top level? This experiments in fighting like actually the world's best players might be like enough to push the scene forward.
I think this tournament definitely needed to happen. That's why I was so excited when it got announced, because it was like, okay, so I'm going to see more than just, I'm going based off what it was before, more than just FT win, jackpot, and like two other and probably one other top level team play against the JPs. I'm going to see 6 teams play against the JPs. That's exciting. And will they win? Probably not, but doesn't matter. Like I said, like it's just definitely needed. Like it's so needed. This was so needed. So kudos to those who put this event together. Kudos, big kudos.
And it helps that it's pushed into our face. It's not an area cup that happened and then we learn about it when we wake up in the morning and have to go search for the VOD on YouTube. It's literally a presentation that IPL's putting on. We've known about it for months. We know exactly where to find it. It's going to be the most accessible tournament for us to watch teams and players from the Japanese scene to see. So I agree in that regards. It's going to be really helpful for us in the Western scene.
All right. Now, before we close up, I think we have one last thing to do, and that is our actual top 8 prediction for the Splat World Series Qualifier 2. Now, I think all of us are agreed on Frutella probably being the favorite, but just looking at the current team signed up, who do we think has a shot of making top 8? I think CKK will probably pull up something.
I am going to echo what Stormy said. I definitely think Artifice is up there. Artifice is in top 8 for sure.
Assuming they get a team, assuming they get a 4th on what we'll be doing. But yes.
Yeah, and I don't know what position they would be in the top 8. I don't think they would be in the top 3.
No, I don't think they'd be in top 3 either, but I know they would definitely be in top 8 somewhere. Maybe probably the bottom 4 in top 8, but
yeah,
they'll make top 8, 100%.
I disagree. They'll make at least 3rd. I think they'll make at least 3rd. If Bounce signs up, I think they make at least 3rd.
If Bounce signs up, okay, yeah,
above Pathway and Bad Villain.
Well, because but you have on Artifice, you have a sprinkle of Orca Balestra and Velocity in there, and that's Div 1. So like
that, it is Div 1. But
yeah,
it's been making waves. They've been making waves, and let's be honest,
is it cohesive?
with this event specifically, you don't need to be that team. You just gotta be barely good enough. That's why I think they're making top 3. Artifice is making top 3, and Bounce signs up. Bounce, where are you?
Add that
important detail.
Yeah, put an asterisk right below their logo. Yeah.
If Bounce signs up.
Yeah.
If Bounce signs up.
Yeah. I still want to put Bad Villain up there as well. Probably number 4. Could be number 2. I don't really know for sure. I just liked what we saw in the first qualifier. We have less teams of what we are choosing between from the first qualifier. There's only 20 teams registered right now, and they're not even full-fledged teams. I think we only have 16 teams that actually have 4 players on the roster that are signed up right now. JJ saying Bounce is not signing up, so we can take their word for that too. So I'm storming. You're gonna storm out the room. I know. JJ, look what you did.
I'm gonna go.
I don't know. I don't know much about Artifice as much as you guys do, so I'll let you all put them where you think they should be, excluding Bounce's regards.
No Bounce, I think.
Put him in 5th.
Put him in no Bounce. Put him in 5th.
No Bounce. Does that mean Black Lotus is higher?
No.
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 Okay, but I do think out of the teams who are here, I do think they are in the top 8, but at the very low part of it. I think they're at the 7 or 8 mark at this point.
Yeah, put him in 8.
I would love to see Black Lotus prove us wrong, though. That'd be hilarious.
Oh, I would too. I absolutely would too.
I think we would all be screaming from the rooftops if they did, because we'd be like, "Yes, finally, you're back."
I think maybe we got 17th in Triton. Black Lotus got 17 in Triton.
17 in Triton?
Yeah, actually no, not top 8. I'm gonna be a hater. Let's put them outside the top 8.
That's crazy.
Yeah, our host is running the show. We gotta let Fern cook. Fern's not even controlling this, but let Fern cook.
They had to be playing with subs. They had to be playing with subs. Like,
No,
no.
I think that I did the stream for it today. I think it was 17th. I don't think it was.
Oh my god! Oh my
That's
god!
This team is
saying I'm like, I have like secondhand embarrassment like that. Oh man.
this team is on fraud watch until further notice. But
what happened?
Dude,
Man.
losing to Pollo really just broke that team. I don't know.
Oh, that Ludi set, yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah,
That
because
was-
that fight between them and Pollo was something else. That was
Yeah.
hard.
That 5-4 put the trajectory down here. It broke,
Yeah.
like, it broke them.
I like how we're saying all this, and they could clearly like destroy any of us who's playing Splatoon. Yet we're talking, oh, they're on the decline.
Okay. What, you get pride of beating me? I'm garbage. You don't get no pride of beating me. Not lately. I love you. It's okay.
Stormy, you're easily the best out of the four of us who are in this
please
chat right now.
result me. Please put me in your results. I would love to be resulted by people.
Bro, I would actually love for Levy. I want y'all to do good, Levy, and then qualify, and then come to my DM saying and talking trash. I want you to do what was that you were saying, Stormy? What was that you were saying? I was like, come on, bro. I want it. I want it.
Wait for Riptide in person. It's always better
Oh
when that happens.
Oh
All right,
Okay.
so you're bad
Bad
villain.
villain second.
I think
Yeah.
giving him a second is fine for me.
I can agree with bad villain second.
Sure.
Yes,
I think Blank Z for third or fourth. They're going to
That's
be up there
kind of a
too.
hot take. I kind of think this 22nd century team with Enamel and Jasmine might be a top 8 sleeper pick.
No,
they don't
are.
have a.
You want to know why? You want to know why? Because they got a paintbrush. They have a paintbrush. That's a
Wait.
paintbrush. Yeah, they play paintbrush.
Oh damn.
Yeah, and for y'all that see me on Twitter, y'all know how I feel about that weapon. So yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, paintbrush.
Also, New Meta is signed up for this tournament.
they
okay,
are.
I was
Did they
wondering.
just sign up?
I feel like they signed up
They
during the
literally just
duration
signed
of
up
this
right
show.
now.
No, they
Yeah,
just
they
signed
did.
up. Yeah, because I've been
put that-
having Sendo open, and like I
Yeah.
just saw somebody join Ezio's team as well. I saw Cactus join Ezio's team.
Move bad
So-
villain to 3. Put new meta
Yeah.
at 2.
Actually,
put
yeah,
New Meta
I think
up
that's
there.
fine.
Yeah. No, they did.
New Meta.
That's so funny.
Fourth
I'm
in the
glad
last
you
one.
refreshed
That is
it.
hilarious. Oh, we were on the podcast.
Yeah,
They're probably watching right now. Like, wait a
Bump
minute,
New
we should
Meta
probably
up
do
there.
this.
Bump them up
They-
there.
are getting interesting.
They want to show up on the top 8 prediction. That's literally the only reason they should. They signed up early.
Yeah, I think I kind of want to put Pathway at 4th right now. And
Yeah, I
then
can agree
this
with
I can see that.
this 22nd century team at 5th in my mind.
So we have 2 cats as our
that's
top
fire.
8.
22nd century. Okay, I see.
Wait, where was Bad
Um,
Villain? Second or third? Is New Meta second or?
I think
It's
New
right.
Meta.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I be number 1?
New Meta, Bad Villain.
I'm going to, and I think Blank Z should be definitely 6. I'm going to throw a bone here and bring up Buddy Island. I don't know if y'all are familiar with the players on Buddy Island, but I am.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, actually, that is Kaisa.
Yeah, that's Kaisa. Yeah, it's Kaisa, Engite, Garrett.
Yeah,
Like,
that's a strong team.
Yeah, I would also I would move them up. That's a good call.
I would at least put them top 8. Truthfully, Buddy Island.
Buddy Island. They're seeded 16.
Yeah.
What about
Might as well. I mean,
Helix's team? Do we think the Native Tribute could be a top 8 contender with what they got going?
Native Tribute. Let me see.
I think
with the
Dark
Dark
Waka,
Waka
Temp, and
and Temp.
Helix.
actually,
Oh right. Oh yeah. Right. Huh.
do we move blanks out of top 8? given that there are few signups.
I wouldn't. I think they've.
How did they see how they did in the first qualify? They lost in losers round 3, but I don't know. I wouldn't be opposed to knocking them out. They didn't beat any notable teams, but
I think maybe
Buddy Island.
maybe
Buddy
swap them
Island.
out for that. For the Buddy Island team.
funny.
I'm about to say you better make me see crazy. I'm like, am I stupid?
Put Black Lotus at 8.
Yeah. Yeah, I really want to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Let's keep them on our radar.
I do not. You move them out right now. They have not.
Wait, Yellow just signed up. There's no way.
Yellowtail?
They also just signed up. Guys.
Who?
I told you.
Yellowtail.
I told you, bro. They always sign
one
up.
shot. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
with
they're
Cast.
Mexican
Okay,
team.
I get Black Lotus out of this.
Okay, so put them as the 6 seed. Bump Blank Z and Buddy Island down 1 each.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You got a title?
Yeah, make Black Lotus really small and just like honorable mention.
Not to not to be that guy, but surely Frutella doesn't choke, right? For Frutella,
Surely
they
not.
did well in the first qualifier, so
Right.
Surely they don't.
we were gassing them up earlier on. So I want to keep that. I want to keep riding that wave.
I'm the biggest Slurp
I'm
Cap fan.
I'm not saying we don't. I'm just sparking a conversation here. They don't choke, right? Like they don't.
No,
They don't.
Surely
Right?
not.
surely not.
Imagine just signing up for the tournament and we're already predicting you to get 6th.
All right, here
And
you
you're
go.
just higher.
Actually, I kind of want to swap Buddy Island and Blanks. I'm just a Kaiso fan, I guess, but
There's gonna
Well,
be.
I don't know. I kind of agree. Like now that I actually am truly seeing who's on Buddy Island, I could believe that.
I'm not opposed to it.
I mean, this is a different swag from the swag I like, but it's still someone. Yeah, I'd say that's a strong enough team.
For some deep lore, we put them on like the past 2 like top 8 predictions that we've had, and both times they did not make top 8. I'm talking about Black Lotus, so we could keep, maybe we're cursing them. Maybe we're doing them a favor here.
I mean, look, 17 and Triton Cup is not.
Oh wait,
Where you want to move?
wait, we forgot about the 22nd century team, the Enamels team, Enamel Jasmine pickup.
Oh right,
This is a hard top 8 to predict
it is actually.
because I feel like there's so many teams that could make it. Oh, it's Crops. Dude, why can top players just not keep the same names?
So I will be right back for just a second, but I will not.
Yeah.
I will not be long.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
Falco's gone. You
Because-
could put like anything in. This is like a crazy vote. This is the time to change everything.
I kind of want to. Okay.
Where in the
As
first
much as I like-
qualifier? You go.
Yeah.
You go.
As much as I like Blanks, I just looking at I don't Enamel Dragon Dragon is from the LeBron and the Lakers apparently. What, everyone's favorite Splatoon team, LeBron and the Lakers. I don't know. I don't want to rate them. And Enamel is threatening us in chat, of course.
Man, please.
So.
Oh my goodness. Like, man, just sucks for Black Lotus, huh? Like, I'm sorry.
Oh wait, Brownie is here.
Well, it's interesting. It's interesting that we've put new meta, like, which I think still rightfully so, that new meta should be as high as they are on our list. But new meta, and I know that the seeding isn't complete yet because there's so many folks that haven't, like, sign up hasn't finished yet. But like, according to current sign up right now, new meta is seeded 7. And everybody on this top 8 that we've put up here is above them except Buddy Island and Artifice.
Well, Artifice doesn't have a 4th player, so
right. No, I know. We're projecting that Artifice is going to just find a banger of a 4th. But I just think it's interesting that we're putting new meta so much higher in comparison to all these other folks when they're all currently seated higher than them.
Yeah.
No, they did. They performed super well.
Because I'm just thinking about like whether or not I believe in blanks, but I'm just thinking about whether or not I believe in them enough to put them like above other really promising teams. And like I don't know, I feel like they're not pulling out wins again. Like in the last qualifier, they didn't pull out wins against like other high levels that they need to beat in order to make this top 8.
Right.
I feel that. I think our top 8 prediction is pretty strong. I think I'll leave it like this. Sorry, Enamel, you're going to be the what's it called? The honorable mention 9th. All right, the honorable mention 9th. But hey, prove us wrong. That's all I can really say. Just hey, prove me wrong. Prove us wrong. I already know how strong you are. I mean, I pretty much hate your entire comp. So, you know. Oh my goodness.
Are we still feeling good about this, or are we feeling iffy? Because you guys sound iffy. This is not confidence.
I think I'm hitting submit on this.
It's hard to predict. Yeah, I feel
it's
like
really
the first qualifier was pretty much said and done, and this one is a little more difficult. Of course, there's going to be some team that signs up overnight, and they're going to be the number 1 team, and we just don't know.
Also, as we were talking, by the way, I do want to say the Kai on Buddy Island is not Kaisa. Because Kaisa has just signed up with Last Minute Duck Motif.
Okay, I was gonna ask. I was like, where is Duck Motif?
With Enrique and Original Bandit Kaisa.
Yeah, they just.
Dude, what is going on? Why can't we
Duck Motif
watch
it right now?
Oh, they are watching at home, and they're like, "Oh, you're not putting us in your top 8. Well, guess what? We're gonna sign up right now." So, what do you think of that?
Wow.
I'd say remove Buddy Island. Yep. Remove Buddy Island and put Duck Motif there.
Duck Motif, yeah.
I don't know if because just on.
Oh gosh, Kaisa and Bandit too. Sheesh.
This is such a whack top. This is so scuffed.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Duck Motif definitely needs to be up there. And so, yeah there you go. Last Minute Duck Motif. I'll even put them above Yadotero and Artifice.
I would too. Yeah.
Actually, yeah. I think
I put them above. I think we have to take Artifice out of this top 8 because they're not full.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I'm an Artifice stan,
I agree.
We can't project that with only 3 players.
I don't think you can put them higher than 8
difficult
against this. Don't put Black Lotus in 6.
Well, what are you doing?
Somebody take their mouse.
Look, I love Black Lotus, but I'm sorry, bro. 17 trying to come is persistence numbers, bro. You can't be having
We'll see, Fern. This now opens that slot for 22nd Century. If now considering Duck Motif got pushed up, does 22nd Century now meet the spot?
22nd Century, yeah. Because also Enamel apparently will fight us at Riptide. But I mean, yeah, I think Enamel and Jasmine are a really strong core. I'm like, I can see that team beating a lot of the other teams we see here.
I can see them taking out Blank Z. I'll be honest. I can see it. And it's not because of skill, it's because of comp. I won't lie.
Wait, I'm sorry, wait. For Stormy's benefit, CKK, can you go to Jasmine's profile on Sendo and then press on their team, please, to show their team banner? For Chingle and the girlies. Okay.
Wait,
if I see a pink, if I see a
go down, it was Yes, man.
If I see a paintbrush,
Is it enamels?
Go to well, you can get them from enamel too. Yeah, Chingo and the girlies. Chingo and the girlies. Click on that.
He's not flinching. Oh my goodness.
I'm speaking to the paintbrush that has a 6-pack right now. You should kill yourself now. You are nothing. You will never be anything in life. Nothing.
Oh
Get this off my screen.
I like that the girlies play Splash, Pencil, and Rapid. I like that. That is for the girls. Those are for the girls. It's canon. You can't deny it.
If I run into it IRL, setting it on fire, burning it. I'm gonna say burning. Y'all are getting top 8 just for that.
And Nimble, the banner is funny. That's why I wanted Stormy to see it.
Oh my god.
Wow. I swear, like one minute after we go offline, like freaking who else? Who's gonna sign up? Like a minute after we go on, like some like Yeti team or something.
Yeah.
All our predictions are gonna be ruined.
Let's get some. Wait, what is it called? Oceania. Let's get some Oceania representation. Let's get the number 1 from Oceania to now sign up.
Greasy Goblins, isn't that?
Yes. I'm talking about Greasy Goblins. Yes.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
22nd Century over Blank Sea. Does anybody else feel the same about putting 22nd Century over Blank Sea?
I agree with it. I can agree with it.
Yeah, okay. I'm indifferent. I think 7 and 8, you're splitting hairs at that point.
Yeah, that's that.
Yeah.
Is there any argument for putting the native tribute Helix's team in top 8?
I think they should be down below with Black Lotus and Artifice.
For right now.
I feel I like that actually.
They're there. They're on the fringe.
Blanks. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Type her in.
The native tribute. Yes, looks good.
It's good.
No, that looks good. Why is Black Lotus an honorable mention? Get them out. Let me start. They deserve to be.
Hey.
Deserve to be there.
When Black Lotus and Artifice qualify.
bro. If Frutella doesn't make it, I ain't gonna lie. That would be. I would tweak. I would tweak. You have to invite me back on just so I can tweak. Like.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Invite me to post. I dare you.
Oh man. Oh, this has been fun. This has been fun. So fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So I do think that's been our top 8. So if that's sort of all we have set out for this episode. So I've been your host, Remixed Fern. I was wondering, like, so our guests, like, where can the audience, like, find you?
I can go first.
Yeah, go down.
Yeah, okay. That's fine. I can go first. Please don't find me. Please don't. But if you insist, I'm on Blue Sky. I'm on Twitter. I'm out in the woods a lot. I'll be at Riptide. I run Sea Battle. I'm wearing my Sea Battle shirt. All that good stuff. Falco, where are you?
Can find me Falco Flyer on Blue Sky. Saf and I will actually be commentating Block 2 of the Splat World Series on Splatoon Tourney. Again, there's going to be 2 streams. So be sure to have both of those open. We'll be on block 2. I also want to say, so tonight I read a book to our son. It's called What Does a Little Blue Truck Say? And do you know what the little blue truck says? It says beep. It literally says beep. Beep, beep, beep. Okay. So I brought it down to show off for you guys. So beep,
Is
beep.
that an audiobook? Like,
Yeah,
like
it has all these animals. Yeah. It has a cow. I don't know if you can hear it.
I can hear a little bit.
It has
Just
a
a little bit.
goose. Yeah. a chicken. Yeah. But yeah, you can find me reading to my son pretty much every night, and then, you know, doing some Splatoon stuff. But Stormy, where can we find you?
You can find me at a Family Dollar located in the hood where I probably have to fight customers off because they all try to try me. And I'm lying, but you can find, you can find me on Twitch at Stormy Senpai 2. You can find my YouTube where I'm going to upload a video for the first time in forever at Stormy Senpai. You can find me on Blue Sky at Stormy Senkai. You can also follow my Twitter at Stormy Spam, where I make like the most unhinged and dumbest tweets possible. That's where you can find me. Are
you going to H-Town tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm about to say H-Town Splatoon is tomorrow. Please watch Splatoon tourney.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going, because I don't know if I'm working on Sunday or not. I'll figure that out. Wait, tomorrow? Wait, it's tomorrow?
Tomorrow, yeah, tomorrow's Saturday. Yeah, it's tomorrow.
I'm off tomorrow. But I'm probably going to spend that day with my girl. And I made no plans to go to H-Town. I was just like really busy. I do feel bad. It'll be my first time missing one, but I'll go to the next one. I'll go to the next one.
Well, I think that might be all for Splat Chat episode 9. So thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you next week for the previews for the Splat World Series finals.
See you guys.